Guys, welcome to another episode of The Pulse. And I'm not sure what Jane Lynch doesn't do. So, acting, hosting, comedy, you got Emmys, Golden Globes, and you were singing the sound check.
I did. Well, you sang the sound check too, and I just put on a little harmony.
Yeah, but you can actually sing. So there's a difference between the two of us doing.
Okay, well, I thought you sounded wonderful.
We jump into a bunch of things, and we kind of go back to come forward. So I was looking in your background, like how you got started. Like you've known that you wanted to do this for like ever.
Yes, that is true. I can't remember a moment in my existence in this body, Jane Lynch, where I didn't want to be either on stage, in the TV, or on the movie screen.
When I say forever, like really 3 years old, you were acting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I knew I wanted it. I knew I wanted to do it. I remember the first play I went to see, which was at the local high school. And I was so young that the memory is kind of foggy. Mm-hmm. But I remember sitting in the gym and the lights went down and then the stage lights came up and you're in a whole new world. And that just grabbed my imagination and my heart and my soul. I just loved it.
Like, how do you get to that at 3? Was it family? You just saw it? Like, I mean, we follow in footsteps, but at 3, you're barely in footsteps.
Exactly. And nobody in my family had any aspirations that way. We liked to sing, but none of us were professional. But I think I was just born with it. It was, an undeniable calling. And it would not be denied.
You were doing things very young, but your own bio was like it took 15, 20 years to become an overnight success. So
yeah, that's right.
What was that journey like?
So I was working in Chicago in theater, Second City, and doing a show called The Real Live Brady Bunch, which was kind of a cult hit. And then I moved out to LA. I did The Fugitive. I had a small part in The Fugitive, and I thought I'm going to go to Hollywood and be a movie star. And it did take me, I don't know if it took 15 years. I think it took like 8 or 9 years before I, got Best in Show, 40-Year-Old Virgin, Glee, all that stuff kind of happened right away. But it was after about, 8 or 9 years in LA of, I was working. I was doing guest spots on TV. Nobody knew who I was. But I was happy. I felt like I had, quote unquote, made it. I had a different job every week. And if it wasn't a guest spot on a sitcom, it was a voiceover. I did voiceovers for like 2 or 3 years where that was my main income. So I was always had my hand in, but folks didn't know who I was probably until Best in Show, 40-Year-Old Virgin.
You studied, you got master's degree. So there was a whole process before you said, I'm actually going to do this.
Yeah, I went to Illinois State University, and that was the only university I could get into. It's much harder to get into now. But I wasn't a great student. But they had, just ironically, and luckily for me, they had a terrific theater department with some legendary teachers. So I learned a lot there. And then I went on to graduate school. I got into the professional training program for acting at Cornell. And that was a 2-year program. And that was another like growth spurt and confidence spurt. And I learned a lot. I played a lot of roles I would probably never be cast in, but I was actually able to stretch my abilities and kind of rise to the occasion, which has stood me in good stead for, the rest of my career. So yeah, after graduate school, I went to New York, kind of got eaten alive, just kind of by the city. It was just a tough time. And went back to Chicago, where I'm from. I was in the Chicago Shakespeare Company. I toured with Second City. I did a lot of plays with just small theater groups. There's a lot of what they call off-loop theater groups that are not equity, which is the actors union. We're not getting paid, and it's basically one of those situations where you're, hey, let's put on a show. And you rent a theater and you do a show for a couple of weeks, and hopefully the Tribune reviews you well. So I did a lot of that as well.
And there's a quote that always comes up that people often see the glory but rarely know the story. Like, I think that it is great. Cool for people to see that like, you decided at a young age, but then didn't quit.
Yeah, you're too young for this, but there was a toy called the Weeble. And the thing was the Weeble Wobbles.
Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down.
Exactly. Oh, very good, Bill.
There you go.
I was a weeble, and so was everyone around me, including Kate Flannery, who is in the show. She's from Philadelphia, and she and I have been singing together forever. And our Swingin Little Christmas show, which I know you're probably going to get to.
Yeah.
She's my co-star in that.
So you're on tour with the 50 jobs that you have. One of them is a Swingin Little Christmas live in concert. You're going several places, right? But you'll be in Philly December 2nd at the Keswick. Okay, so what is this show?
Well, the show is a Christmas show. We've been doing it. This is our 10th year. And it's the kind of typical Christmas music that we still listen to, the late 50s, early 60s kind of jazzy, big band version, kind of peppy, although we do some really nice, slow, beautiful, melodic songs as well. And of course, because it's Kate and Jane, there's comedy in between the numbers. And Tim Davis, who was the vocal arranger on Glee, he arranged all of our vocals and he sings with us. So we do these very tight 3-part harmonies. And our band is just to die for. They are masters of jazz. So when you can play jazz, you can play anything. And Tony Guerrero, the head of their quintet there, he composed all the music. And it's a throwback to the late 50s, early 60s. The guys wear the skinny ties and the dark suits and the little pocket squares. And we look like we're straight out of the 50s. And it's really fun. Your toe will tap, your heart will open, and you'll be ready for the Christmas holidays.
Celebrating the holiday spirit.
Yes.
Why this? This just something else that you love to do? I mean, when you're doing so many different things, I'd imagine you can kind of stick your toe in a lot of areas.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing with Kate and me is that we've been constant in each other's life since, going back to the 80s in Chicago until present day. We have stayed in touch. We've always sang together, like at charity events. So I think it was around 2013, The Office was canceled and Glee was canceled. So we said, let's hit the road. So we started doing a cabaret show. And we've done a couple of cabaret shows and have gone all over the country with this band, the Tony Guerrero Quintet. And then around 2016, we said, let's make an album. So we did a Christmas album. And then we liked it so much, we said, let's do a show where we sing the music from the Christmas album. So we've been doing it now. This is our 10th year. And we love it. It's the highlight of our year. All of us, we love it. We all love Christmas. We're Christmas fanatics.
Those holiday shows in places like that are just it's a great time.
It really is. It's 90 minutes of nonstop fun. There's no intermission or anything. You sit your butt down and you have a blast. And at the end, we sign our CDs. We meet everybody. We sign them. We take pictures, and we just love it.
Coming up next on The Pulse, she worked at it for years until she finally reached her goal.
There were moments where I was like, oh, boy, I remember my agent said to me once, you're a professional actor. And it never struck me.
So we want people to come and see the show. That's one of the things that you're doing right now. When I said you had 50 jobs, you just launched. I was walking on the way into the studio, and the poster is up in the hall for Celebrity Weakest Link.
Celebrity Weakest Link. We did a bunch of episodes, and they're playing right now. I think we're like 3/4 of the way through. Terrific episodes, celebrity themes. So we have, celebrities in particular. Like we'd have a whole Glee reunion. We have roast comics, those hilarious people. We have the Housewives episode. So they're really great. They're great episodes.
Is that fun? You get to just hang out with people and remind them that they're not that smart.
Exactly. That's exactly what my job is. It's just to let people know they're not as clever or smart as they think they are. And I love it. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy that so much.
We've mentioned a couple of different things, Glee and the 40-Year-Old Virgin and all of the different things, and so many things that you have done and still do in your career. Was there a moment that was the big break? And you're like, okay, I'm doing this now.
Yeah, I guess so. There were moments where I was like, oh boy, I remember my agent said to me once, you're a professional actor. And it never struck me. And that was early on. But I would say, when if I were to write the story of my career, I think Best in Show was a really big moment. And that's the Christopher Guest movie. And then after that, probably Glee. And then before that, 40-Year-Old Virgin too. That whole canon of films that I did with Judd Apatow and Steve Carell and Will Ferrell, Paul Rudd, kind of that unofficial comedy ensemble type thing that happened a lot during the mid 2000s.
To be in big kind of hits like that, to not necessarily be the
star,
but to still carve out these roles that are so memorable, and people can kind of go back and say, oh, that's got to feel cool that you can kind of carve that role out.
Yeah, that was really fun. You know, I think I did like 4 or 5 films in a row with a lot of the overlapping same people, and you know, a big comedy ensemble films. I love that. That's my favorite thing. I never want to be out there alone. Nobody's asking me to be out there alone. I like being part of a team.
Well, I mean, you're not out there alone, but you're headlining the tour.
I shouldn't be. It should be Jane Lynch and Kate Flannery.
Okay.
Even though my name, I think that's how we did it in the beginning. And anyway, she's as vital to this as I am. I'd be nowhere without her.
Well, and full disclosure for everyone, I've got the paper right here, and Kate Flannery's name is as big as Jane Lynch's name.
There you go.
On the paper right here, talking about a Swingin Little Christmas live in concerts right there. Next, she's an advocate for many causes, but she just decided to stay out of all the divisive drama of the day.
Yeah, I got in the drama for a while, and I'm glad I'm not doing it anymore.
When you achieve on this level and start to have that level of exposure, and you do so many things from comedy to performing or what have you, I would imagine people start pulling on you to use your voice. That's kind of the theme of this show. And you've also been out there very much as an advocate / activist for a lot of things. Was that always you, or you kind of get in the spotlight and decide to use it?
It's been a bit of a journey. I'm more interested in impact, like right now. And I, for me, and I think I've always felt this, but I've been tugged onto like the bigger picture and, you know, like tweeting about, you know, political things. And I don't do that anymore. I live in a little town in Santa Barbara in California. It's about an hour and a half north of LA. And I'm going to something tonight with Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Brad Hall, where we're going to raise money for an organization in our little town that helps folks, especially elderly and those who don't have enough money, like pay their electric bill or, you know, get their car out of the repair place. And just that they do the little things that make a big difference for people. So that I'm more interested in than anything else right now.
Yeah, so you're staying out of the drama and getting into kind of having an impact on people's lives.
Yeah, I got in the drama for a while, and I'm glad I'm not doing it anymore.
But then some of the things that you're doing, I mean, LGBTQ plus rights, social equality, human rights campaign, Down Syndrome Foundation, like a lot of these different things, those are areas where we can have an impact.
Yeah, I think that it's really powerful to see an adult who's doing well in the world that, you know, is not hiding their sexual orientation. I think that can be really powerful, and I'm always proud to do that. Absolutely. And I just went to an event in Denver for the Down Syndrome Association, and I had on Glee, my sister, the woman who played my sister, had Down syndrome, and my best friend had Down syndrome as well. So it was really great to see. I saw them out there, and it was really wonderful.
A while back, you wrote a book, Sharing Your Journey. Yeah. Why decide to do that, and what was the impact of doing something like that?
Because I'm sober, and I stopped drinking when I was about 32. I hear from people that, you know, one of the most powerful things you can do for another person is hear their story and listen to someone's story. I was at another event here in Santa Barbara for the community last night, and we did that. We kind of really listened we went off 2 people at a time, and we told a particular aspect of our story, and the other person doesn't respond and just, you know, affirms. And then the next person would tell their story about a particular aspect of their life, and how powerful that is, and how you can't really other somebody once you know their story.
Yeah.
So that's the long answer for why I wrote the book. I wouldn't have been able to articulate it back when I wrote it, which I think was about 2011. But I've come to see that it's very powerful, and hearing other people's story too, and really listening to other people is a very powerful thing.
It's much harder to feel negatively about somebody when you actually understand them and can see those similarities and relate to some of the things that they're doing.
Yep. The face-to-face. Yep.
Coming up, she acts, she does comedy, she hosts and sings, all while trying to use her voice for good.
I like to sing. I think of that and how, making a joyful noise is so powerful.
So for somebody who is doing so much, what is there a what's next?
I have never known what's next, even though I continually think to myself, what's next? But I've never known. And it's proven to me that I do best just staying very, very present. And I think my agenda is to have no agenda. So I don't know what's next. I have absolutely no idea, except I know that I'm leaving for tour the day after Thanksgiving and I'm going to do the Christmas show.
Okay. And that has worked for you. You still love doing all this?
I do. I love doing all of it. Yeah, I don't worry too much about what's next.
Okay. Is there a favorite? What do you love the most? Or are you going to say
all of it?
Love it.
I'm
equally.
serious. I love all of it, and whatever's right in front of me. But there is something about this live performance, and with these people too, we're very aware how blessed we are, and how much we're breathing rarefied air. That we really like each other. We have a really good show. Everybody is at the top of their game, and it's a real blessing.
Tell them again, why should we be there December 2nd and on tour to enjoy a Swingin' Little Christmas live in concert?
Well, it'll be welcoming the holiday season for you. It's chock full of the Christmas music you will love, performed in a style that is kind of how we still listen to Christmas music today. The stuff we listened to that from the late 50s, early 60s, the Frank Sinatras, the Doris Days, the Perry Comos, Rosemary Clooney. That's all the stuff that means Christmas to us musically. And our show, it has, everything. It has everything that sounds like that. We have the great band. We have, really good singers and really tight harmonies, and it'll bring Christmas into your heart.
The theme of the show, as I said, is use your voice for good. So we ask everybody the same question, and that is, when you hear that phrase, use your voice for good, what does that mean to you?
Well, because I like to sing, I think of that and how, making a joyful noise is so powerful. And I don't think of it as anything big anymore. I don't think of it as like, I have to find a platform, which I never actually thought I did need to do. But I think it's your voice is your encounters every day, your one-on-ones at the coffee shop, even like at the stop sign and signaling to someone, you go ahead. Oh, you want me to go ahead? Okay. And that's a lovely thing too. I always do it with a smile on my face. And I don't know. I think it's your one-on-one encounters are the most important thing in your life, because they're also right in front of you. And I think they make the biggest impact. I think using your voice sometimes can become this nebulous thing. And unless you're really clear, I don't know what impact it has. I'm much more into one-on-one.
Guys, thanks so much for watching another episode of The Pulse. Today with Jane Lynch, actor, comedian, singer, activist, advocate, so many things, and with a really cool story. I enjoyed hearing it. I generally do, and I hope you did as well. You can hear the entire uncut, unedited podcast, all places where podcasts are available. Just go search the Pulse with Bill Anderson podcast. Thanks again for watching, and I leave you today as I always do, reminding you whenever you can, use your voice for good and have a good one.